Well, 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 ain't it about bloody time that we had Legacy United. I was going to say Evolution. Legacy United Wave 2 show up in my neck of the woods. Seems like everyone is getting their hands on them these days. Well, I'm very happy to say that I'm going to kick things off with this guy. It is the Legacy United Shard. Man, I've been loving these rock guys. Look at that piece of plastic stuck out. Shard, going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe while you're at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton and lets you know when the content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that is in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is Shard. She is, I believe, the first female from the Infernac universe. Of course, anybody who has been following knows that there's a couple of homages here to Rock Lords, to that one, I think it was a Headmasters episode, My Friend Six Shot, right up to Inhumanoids. So it's been very interesting, and Shard has a bit of an interesting backstory as well, with being made out of death crystals and everything. I was excited for her, and I think that she might just live up to the hype. How about we find out together? You, me, head over to the table. What do you say? And take a closer look at her. And so yes, here indeed we have the latest from the Infernac universe, being Shard. And Shard, I believe, is the first female rock creature thing. These are noted for not having sparks, so we're not really sure how they're alive yet. And this one in particular is apparently made out of death crystals. Now you might remember Cup kind of complaining about that way back in G1. Originally this was going to be a character made out of dark energon and translucent plastic, but whatever, the material didn't hold up, so it became death crystals. I think it was a good call because I think that this looks magnificent. That said, before we get to looking at her, we have to look at that packaging first. And here we have Shard's packaging. It's the United packaging, a close-up of Shard's face over here. Reminds me somewhat of like Death Charge somehow. A little bit Death Charge, a little bit Waspinator, you know? It's an interesting mix for sure. I love the green eyes as well. This side over here, our usual Legacy artwork. And on the back, of course, we have Shard in both modes and combine their bits and pieces anyway with gears. I don't have gears right here now to be able to do that with. I don't have a gears. Certainly not right now anyway. So I don't know if I'm going to show that in this review or if I'll wait and show it, you know, when we get a gears. I don't know. We'll see. Oh, we have big, beautiful, beefy, two-sided instructions that not only show the transformation, but show the multiple things you can do with the numerous accessories, being the rotor blades and the two blasters, and ways, of course, that you can combine Shard with other characters. And here, indeed, we have Shard, and I'm going to tell you now, I feel like Shard is ripe to become a retool for... Do I have a custom Combiner Wars one? Death Cobra. Like, I look at Shard and I feel like if you took the rockiness out of it, you changed the head sculpt and made it still green, that you could have a nice Death Cobra. I just don't know how it would combine. This is my custom Combiner Wars one, which I absolutely love. Death Cobra, in case you didn't know for some reason, is a member of Lio Kaiser, or was kind of almost a member of Lio Kaiser until Hellback got terrified. I digress. Here we can see the numerous accessories. She clocks in at a hefty 82 grams. You know, granted, I always say 84 is traditional. 82 is pretty darn close, and with all of the molded in detail and the robust feel of the plastic and the perfect tolerances, I'm okay with losing 2 grams of plastic. She comes with these blasters. They are Blast Effects compatible. You could also, if you wanted to, take this and like put it, I think it can go, yeah, you can put the sword thing in the Blast Effect part. For the actual sword, you have to hold it by this peg. You can't hold it by the bottom peg because there's a little nub here that keeps it from going in the hand. So it's a sword, but in a very weird way. You can also use the peg hole that's underneath here to put another blade there. And I guess if you wanted to, you know, if you wanted to turn it out, you could. Or over here, of course, you can also see the way the blades are, right? So like that's a lot that this can do. I was terrified that these things would have to go in the hands. There are 5mm pegs on the side, and you could put them in the hands as hand blasters, but they also slot into the arm just fine, nice and cleanly. Thank goodness, because I do like to be able to keep the hands free for other things, like swords. So a whole bunch of accessories. I'm going to take the 4 of them off and put them on back here, where they belong as the rotors, and then we will kind of go from there. And voila, there you go, they're on her back, and this is what she looks like now from the front. I'm going to give the look a 10. We have nothing to compare it to except this. I have to give it a 10. I think the green death crystals are phenomenal. I love the fading paint. I love the translucent. I even like the light piping on the head. Really impressive. So a 10 for the start. What about the articulation? Well, the head goes left and right. No wiggle up and down. That's a bit of a bummer, but that's minor. Arm goes all the way around. It goes out to the side. The arms can come off, of course. We have a bicep swivel. We have elbow to 90 degrees. We have a wrist rotation. We have a waist. Very solid waist, too. Legs all the way forward. Legs all the way back if you kind of get the kibble out of the way there. Thigh swivel. Knee to 90 degrees. And ankle tilt in. And even ankle tilt, if you want it for some reason, out. I don't know what else I could possibly want in terms of articulation from her. And honestly, her feet are big and solid and hefty, and she stands up just fine. Let me just straighten out that knee and that leg there a little bit. I don't know what else I could want for the articulation, if I'm being perfectly honest. As such, I'm going to say that the articulation, I guess a head that can look up and down. I'm going to say 9.9. That's the only thing that this is missing. Now, I said I wasn't really going to worry about showing the different parts because I don't have gears here. I'll probably show it with gears. But this is a case where there's not a whole lot that really seems to come off and go used that I can see with gears. At least not stock. I'm sure you can get a little more creative. The bits and pieces that do come off include these on the side, these here. These are off the package actually. Those shin pieces can come off, and this looks smooth. That's another thing that's like kind of gives credence to the idea that this could be a Death Cobra, to me anyway. Put those back on. The arms here, they can come off, and you can use those. They just peg it on the side. And not for nothing, if you really want them to, the lower legs can come off, and you could do something with the lower legs. I guess you'd be left with most of a helicopter. Now that's the one thing that's cool here. Even if you take those lower legs off, even if you take the arms off, if you have the rest of the body in helicopter mode, it would look a little funny and probably have a couple of somewhat hollow areas, but it could still be technically a functional helicopter, which is kind of cool. Speaking of helicopter, how about we do the transformation? So far we're getting like a 9.99. This is almost perfect. Okay, so for the transformation, let's see. I'm going to take these off just because it makes it a little easier to deal with the arms, and we'll worry about them later. The arms, we turn them like this for now. These will move a little bit more, but I find, even though the instructions kind of tell you to turn them all the way around, I find that you got to sort of finagle them a little bit as we go. These rotors up here, I'm going to, I guess, straighten these out because why the heck not? Do that and do that. Right, so there's your 4 rotors done. We're going to untab and untab these from the side. There's a little slot and tab here, and there's a vertical slot and tab here, horizontal slot and tab up right there. So they're going to come to the back and just leave them off to the side for now. Then we're going to take the chest up, and then on a secondary hinge all the way in here, we're going to bring the whole head up and have it hide inside. Why is that not going all the way up now? Hold on. There we go. There we go. Now it's all the way up. These arms, they're going to go in here on the side. So that's why I was saying, like, if you took the arm off, you could still fold this piece up and cover in this side here. It's just you won't quite have it on the back here. But we'll get to that in a second. Let's unclip the waist. And to unclip the waist, you just have a circular peg into a circular hole up here. Let's straighten out the feet and straighten out the feet. Let's turn the leg and turn the leg, and using tab and slot on the inside of the leg right here, we're going to squeeze those legs together. I'm also going to take these shin pieces off because it's a little easier to see the tabbing in with those off. You don't need to take them off. If you're like, oh no, GotBot, that's a bunch of legs parts forming, it's really, trust me when I tell you, it's really not. Why aren't you going together? You guys have never given me any issue in the past. So why are you giving me issue now? Hold on, I gotta make sure that I get those legs put together, and they're fighting me for some reason, even though normally they don't. So I'm gonna say that this is on me. Okay, pardon the cut, there we go. Now I got them together. I just didn't have them lined up right is all. We're going to bring that waist all the way up, and now these come up. Now, before we peg these in, I'm going to bring the arms up, and the arms, they fold in. And we have to make sure that we got them positioned correctly to fold in accurately. And I find that that's the biggest problem with folding the arms in, is making sure that the forearms are lined up. Now, that's just me. I'm sure that other people find that way easier, but for some reason with me, I just find that a little bit of a challenge. There, in, and looks like it's in. There. So you just put those arms in on the side, and now this comes up under the bottom. When this comes up, we have two rectangular pegs here that go up into two slots up here, and we have two more pegs here that go into notches up here on the toes. It's a lot to line up though. So I do find it's easier with the leg pieces off to slot these ones in and make sure that they tab in. So let's just make sure that they tab in, make sure that that front is tabbed in. Now I add these leg pieces onto this side and onto that side, and we will take the back here, the blaster, and put it in right there on that side, and last but not least, this blaster, and put it in over on this side in the peg hole on his forearm. By the way, yes, they rotate, no problem, but boom, in the end, here we have Shard in her helicopter mode. And I don't care what anybody says, this is absolutely beautiful. I love the transformation. I finagle the arms a little bit, but that's on me, that's not on the design. I'm sure some people put them in like absolute butter. It's one of those pieces that eat me up. I'm going to say the transformation is very unique, very different, and very inventive for a helicopter. I'm giving it a 10. She is absolutely fantastic. Brand new character, brand new piece of fiction. I'd love to know more of the backstory. Made out of the super dangerous death crystals, so she's going to be no joke. Really creepy looking helicopter, but man, oh man, even with the pieces off, you could still use it as a helicopter. How great is that design? How wonderful and functional is that design? Yeah, she's absolutely a get. I would absolutely advise nabbing her. She's a true blue deluxe and looks absolutely gorgeous and functions even better. Shard, across the board, about a 9.999. It's about as perfect as you could want. The only issue that I could point out at all is I wish the head could look up and down. And overall, I would call that pretty minor. And here we are once again, and here she is, and she is a gem. She really, really is. She has the mass that you gotta have for a deluxe as far as I'm concerned. She has a ton of sculpted detail because she's rock. I mean, so much sculpted detail. She has all the articulation that you could want. I have detected 0 tolerance issues with my copy. As a matter of fact, I found all of the joints and whatnot very, very well toleranced. Very little hollowness on her. Not much at all. And what there is pretty much filled in. Maybe the back of the legs, but like, even that is pushing it, man. Inside the legs? No. Inside and the back, and yeah, no, the legs, the arms, man, oh man, oh man. I love the fading paint detail. I love the paint on her shoulders. I think the transformation is very clever. It's not your typical helicopter, and we didn't even have to Combiner Wars the legs. Speaking of Combiner Wars, I still think that this could be remolded cleanly to give us one heck of a Death Cobra for sure. When you take off the rock detail on the shins, I mean, the shins look smooth. I could see it. I could see it. Not like this, but certainly it's in there. The only drawback would be that if this was a Death Cobra, I don't see a way really for it to combine. I guess they could engineer it somehow, but man, for what this is, for a new character, for something totally unique that we haven't seen before, we have excellent articulation, a fantastic look, one heck of a head sculpt, and a really enjoyable, unique transformation. I don't think that there's anything here that I can really say that I don't like. She is an absolute gem. Let me know what you think about Shard. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring. Or, of course, hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button. Stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget, man, don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single solitary day, you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit. Either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old-fashioned way, right here, inside the videos.